everyone, I'm here with a video where I'm going to be doing a series where I go through some of my decks by different authors and different artists. This was really inspired by Owl Moon 53. If you are somebody that's into tarot, you probably know who she is. If don't, check her out. But I like to give credit where credit is due. And she's been doing this, and so I was kind of inspired. I thought, I will do this as well. I'm going to go through some of my decks by the different authors that I have, especially the more prolific ones, just to kind of show you like which ones I have, but also kind of to give you my advice about which ones are good and which ones I think, you know, don't waste your money on. But also just remember that this is just me personally. Different people like different things, and you know, some decks, it's not that they're bad, I just didn't connect with them for whatever reason, right? All right, so today, what you're here for, I am going through my Alana Fairchild decks. So Alana Fairchild is a very prolific Oracle deck author. She's worked with lots of different artists over the years. She has quite a number of decks. I do not have all of her decks. I have 5 decks here, so I'm going to talk about them and talk about what I think of them. But, you know, I do like her decks overall. Her style is kind of, she does have these very meaty guidebooks for the most part. Some of them, the meanings are actually, I find, a little bit too long. I like to have, you know, a page and a half, 2 pages of like, tell me about the card and then give me your divinatory meaning. But some of hers can be quite lengthy. And when you're doing a card draw in the morning and you want like a quick read, it can be a bit too much to read. And with hers, you really often do have to read the guidebooks rather than going all the time by the keywords. It depends on the decks though. But overall, her decks are mostly through Blue Angel. Actually, I think they're all, the ones I have are through Blue Angel Publishing, which is, I believe is an Australian company. And I love Blue Angel decks. They always come in lovely boxes. The cardstock quality is usually quite good. The books are meaty, so they are good decks overall. And Alana Fairchild, her decks aren't overall, I would say they're not so much witchy, but they are very, they're new agey, but they're also very goddess centered, very feminine centered. So if you do like that kind of energy, you'll gravitate a little bit towards her. It depends on the decks too. There's a couple decks here that do have a more witchy, dark kind of energy. And when I say dark, I don't mean as in like negative. I mean like they do seem to have more depth. They talk more about shadow. They balance out shadow and light. And then some lean towards more sort of like love and light end of things. So it depends kind of what you want. So the first deck I'm going to talk about here is one that I haven't worked a lot with, but I'm having trouble connecting with. And so I only give this, I would say, about a 2 out of 5, 2.5, 3 out of 5, somewhere in there, just because I haven't really connected with it. It is the White Light Oracle, and the artwork is by, it does not say on the cover. I'll have to look. Artwork by Andre Gonzalez. Okay, so it is a lovely deck. That's the inside of the box, as always, the colors. The artwork is beautiful. It's all this very sort of like pale whites and beiges. There's some with some goldens on them. It's very taupey. I saw somebody review this and I thought, oh, that's a really beautiful deck. Like the artwork is lovely. These are matte finish if you like that. I'm not a fan of matte decks, but whatever. But I just haven't been connecting with it. I did some draws with it and the meanings. Like I find this White Light Oracle, I mean, obviously by the name, it's sort of very, very sort of new agey, and I just didn't really connect with it. So I'm not saying that this is a bad deck in any way. I may be putting this in my sell, trade, giveaway pile, but I just haven't connected with it. And I may connect with it at some point, but right now it just hasn't really spoken to me, even though like artwork wise it's a lovely deck. The next deck is quite different than her other decks. It's a smaller deck and it's Butterfly Affirmations. I was hoping it would come with a book, but this one doesn't. It's just like a small box, and the cards, they don't have the same backing. So the back of the cards are all these different butterflies. So each one is a different butterfly, which is very cool and very beautiful. And then on the front of the cards, we have here different affirmations. So we have like, the universe is always helping me, sometimes in unexpected ways. I dare to dream of wonderful things happening in my life, etc., etc. So it is like a very nice deck. It's very pretty, but it is not what I expected out of a Alana Fairchild type of deck. But as an affirmation deck, like pulling like an affirmation for the week or something, it is lovely. I often use this in the summertime because obviously it is a very summery kind of deck for weekly affirmations. But it's not the meatiest of decks, and it is definitely very much, it's an affirmation deck. So it's very like, positive, love and light type of energy. But if you want like a lovely little affirmation deck with butterflies, I mean, it's a nice deck. The next deck I've gone on and off with, and it is the Crystal Mandala Oracle, channeling the power of heaven and earth. The artwork is Jane Marin. So that's the box there. And so this is all crystals, but all of the crystals are associated with either an angel, an ascended master, or a goddess. So it comes with a pretty meaty guidebook. I would say the meanings on this are almost like a little too lengthy for me. So there'll be the little thumbnail, a description, and then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 pages almost to read. And that's like a bit much. I mean, I do appreciate all the research and information that goes into it. But sometimes when you draw things, you just want like a quick divinatory meaning or a semi-quick one. As with a lot of her decks, she always has like a healing process or an invocation at the end. So if you want to really work with that particular entity, you can. And like I said, it's all crystals, but they're associated with, like I said, a spiritual entity of some kind. So again, the artwork is lovely. So like this one's Divine Rebel, and it's Kuan Yin and Pearl. So each one has a crystal and a goddess or angel, etc. with it. Archangel Remiel and Argonite. It does have a keyword on it, which is nice, which is rest. Goddess Isis and the Isis crystal, she shall always prevail. So as you can see, again, beautiful artwork. This does have a keyword on it, so I mean, you could discard the book if you wanted. And very, very pretty. I bought it because I was interested in having like a crystal deck. I don't know how I feel about it being sort of associated with, angels and goddesses and everything, but it is a beautiful deck. And like I said, I do use this deck, but kind of on and off, like I'm not totally connected to this deck. So I probably will still keep this one. Buddha, Peridot, and Wild Compassion. I do like that keyword. Like, I love these colors. Like, these colors are juicy and beautiful. So if you're looking for like a crystal deck and you really like working with things like Ascended Masters and Angels and things, this would be a really, really lovely deck. It does have like, these healing processes. So you could, even pull like one a week or one a month to work with. So, depending on what you're looking for, I think this can be a really nice, a really good deck. Okay, now let's get to my favorite Alana Fairchild deck that I have. And I think it's probably a favorite of a lot of people's, is the Sacred Rebels Oracle. So this one, the artwork is, where is the artwork here? Autumn Sky Morrison. So she works with a lot of different artists. So that's the box there. Now this one has much more of a feminine, witchy, wild kind of vibe, which is more what I vibe with. Again, we've got the beautiful colors on the inside. And this book, I think, is more my style because, yes, it's still meaty and chunky, but you don't have like 4 or 5 pages. You have 3 pages usually, or like 3.5, maybe it is a little bit longer. But I find this one, like the healing processes in it are just a little bit better. I think I just vibe more with this. The meanings, while still lengthy, are a little bit shorter than some of her other books. So I do really like this one for length of book. And then just the connection with this deck, it has like a very strong goddess type vibe, but it's a goddess vibe that's very much like Maiden Mother Crone. It's both light and dark. And it's all about the creative process as well. So as an artist, I really connect with that. So beautiful artwork. Again, bring it into form. It's one of them. Inner Trust. So we have here big, bold vision. Collaborative dreaming. See, very creative. And I really like the keywords on here as well. Focus into the light. Beautiful. Going beyond normal. So it does have this very rebellious kind of quality to it. This really calling on the inner feminine in not in like a, what is the terms I'm looking for? It's, you know how sometimes when people have a goddess deck, everyone's very like young and beautiful and it's all very sanitized. This is not. This is very much connecting with the inner wild goddess within you. So this is definitely my favorite Alana Fairchild deck. I would highly recommend it to anyone. And I find that I connect with this deck. I use this deck too when drawing cards for when I work with Venus, because it has that kind of wild feminine energy to it. Now the next deck I haven't worked with a lot, but I just got it, and that is the Kali Oracle, which I unboxed last week. So I don't have a review for this deck because I really haven't worked with it much. Again, the artwork is beautiful on this one. Got the beautiful colors inside. The guidebook is quite meaty. And again, she does have her lengthy explanations. The art book or work is beautiful. And the keywords are all in Sanskrit. And of course, I don't read or speak Sanskrit. So I'm going to have to work with this a bit more. But I do love the energy of this artwork. Like, it's just fierce and wild. And again, it makes me think of kind of the Sacred Rebels in some of its energy, where it's goddess energy, but not in a light sanitized way, in like a really powerful and deep way. So I'm going to do a full review when I've worked with this deck for a while, but it is a beautiful, gorgeous deck, and I look forward to working with this. And it's a little more up my alley, obviously. So I'm going to work with that. But let me know what you think. Do you have any of these decks? What do you think of them? Do you like her decks overall? What are your thoughts about them? I would love to hear them. And also, do you like this series? Do you want me to do some more where I talk about different artists and different decks I have and which ones I recommend? Let me know. Just so you know, on my Etsy shop, I do have relationship readings that are at a reduced price until the end of February, if you want to check that out. It's not just for romance either. It's really any kinds of relationships you're just looking for more information and guidance about. What else is going on? On the Coven, we're working on friendship magic for the month of February. Things like banishing gossip and frenemies, and inviting more friendships and community into your life, and blessing your community. So if you're interested, you can check that out there. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and as always, peace and love.